We are Prodigy.
Welcome back to Work the Left Side. Just another quick 10-minute video just to get myself used to talking to you all again. So if you checked out the last video, you know, awesome, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And apologies for the hood being up, I'm just having a bad hair day and none of you need to see that, so I don't want to subject you to it. So yeah, right, the point of today's video is to get me used to talking about wrestling shows again. Obviously, over the last 4 months, watched many shows, had many thoughts, but not really divulged them or had many people to talk about. Goodman Ash is been my main source of outlet, and we generally talk about Dynamite a hell of a lot, and obviously the pay-per-views. So it's Dynamite's what I'm comfortable with talking about because it's what I enjoy the most. So I am gonna go over some points about Dynamite from Wednesday night or from last night. So personally, I thought it was a good show. I know my boy thought it was one of the best shows of the year. I wouldn't go that far, but I had a lot of cool moments, planted a lot of seeds. It started with an absolute banger match as well. That Moxley Roosh match was just mwah. Don't know much about him, obviously not Moxley, on about Rush. I've never really watched Ring of Honor over the last few years. Watched it back in the day when Joe Daniels McGuinness, you know, those guys were killing it. But yeah, I don't really know much about him. I've only seen him in a couple of matches in Dynamite, which it's been alright, but he hasn't really sort of set the world on fire. But this match against Moxley, man, the guy turned up and he looked awesome. Yeah, held his own. Whether, you know, Moxley played a part in making him look good, but generally I think he did it by himself, and it was an absolutely cracking match. And it continues Dynamite's routine of just having awesome opening matches. I'd like to know if anybody can remember a bad first match on Dynamite. And it's one of the reasons, you know, I enjoy it so much. It's like, it doesn't, like other places, it doesn't open the show with a 25-minute bloody promo. So it literally hits the ground running, boom. And yeah, this was just an absolute cracking match. It had everything in it, and I'm a massive mark for Moxley, to be fair anyway. So, you know, this just cements all the reasons why I just think the guy's awesome. And it's stuff like this that I need to get out of my system. I'm trying to think what came after the Moxley match. I'm pretty sure, I'm literally just rewatching it now as well. Just watched it. I can't remember what came after the Moxley match. I can remember obviously the Jericho promo. The champion is getting his rematch to become, or to try and get the title from Moxley. Obviously it's not going to happen. I don't know, unless obviously they want a clear face heel match for Punk. I would love to see Punk versus Moxley, but face on face, I think it's a risky move. So it would make sense to put the title on a heel, ready to face Punk before Punk came back. So I don't know if that's the plan. I mean, if it is, fair play. Yeah, but that's what I love about AEW. You can fancy book the shit out of this thing, and it's never overly. There's a few obvious routes, but you always second guess yourself. And I think that's just, like I said on the last video, it's fun. It's just fun to fantasy book wrestling. That's what we used to do back in the day, before it became a bit too predictable. So I'm back doing it now with AEW. There's so much stuff that so many roads you can go down. So yeah, after the Moxley, after the Jericho thing, I can't remember, it might have been a Dante Martin promo, it might have been the Danny Garcia promo, but I just think it's so far the episode's looking good, and sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. So I'm just watching the Thunder Rosa Yoshi match. It's yeah, I'm not sold on Thunder Rosa. Yeah, she's good. Don't get me wrong, she's good, but she's not very good, in my opinion. So she looks a bit sloppy at times. So, but anyway, this is a positive video. I tend to focus on the positives more than the negatives, because wrestling fans as a whole are pretty cunty for focusing on the negatives. And let's say, talk about what you like, what you enjoy. If you don't like something, don't watch it. My words of wisdom for the day. So, Ricky Starks, Danhausen. Yeah, it was a bit shorter than I had expected. I kind of went into that match thinking they might give Danhausen a bit of a stage to do what he can do. So if anybody knows him from Ring of Honor, and I've had to go back because, as I said, I didn't used to watch Ring of Honor, but I've gone back and watched a few Danhausen things. And dude's a good worker, man. He's not just a character. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, they kept the match short. Starks obviously retained. Open challenge. Boom. Crowd chanting, "Send out Hook," before his music even started. And yeah, there was Hook. He came out. And I like the kid. I think he has got something about him. And I hope they're being very sensible with it as well. But it's kind of like using him sparingly, so they're not pushing him down people's throats. And I think it's only the second time he's been on Dynamite. He's normally on Rampage. And yeah, it's just with a tear in my eye, the passing of the torch of the FTW belt from Starks to Hook, and to hear Taz talking on commentary, it's just awesome. Just the sort of fact that his kid's now got the title he created and defended back in ECW. It's just a little bit of goosebumps going on. So that was cool. And then also you had the Will Hobbs turning on Starks. Starks is absolutely fucking awesome. Dude can't do any wrong for me. He looks the part. He can cut a promo. He's in the upper levels when it comes to promos. The dude's mic skills are great, and I think the face turn was inevitable because the fans were just getting behind him because they could see how good he was, and they've started to appreciate him. So I'll look forward to this Hobbs-Starks feud, and then hopefully he gets pushed up at the card a bit. Only trouble I've got with AEW at the minute is I can't see who's going to take the belt off of Wardlow, or I can see him holding it for a while. So I think that belt would be the next perfect step for Starks, but I don't know. I can't book how he's going to get there. If anybody's got any ideas, put them in the comments. Always interested in other people's takes. Another big thing with this episode was the trios titles on the commentator's desk at the start, or throughout the show. So finally they've answered our prayers. Most fans, I would say, have been begging for this. I remember being a bit good that the Atlantic belt thing announcement wasn't a trios title announcement, but they've made the announcement, and now we get to go down the tournament route to crown the first ever trios tag titles. And yeah, that's I mean, what have we got? We've got Best Friends, we've got Pride and Power and Kingston. Obviously got Death Triangle when Pac gets back from defending the Atlantic belt from all over the shop. Obviously the teasing, I think that was the next bit, was a promo with a tease for the Young Bucks and Adam Page potentially rejoining, get back together, joining, making a trio. My man did a good shout, which I'd not thought about, which would be, they're advertising next week that All Elite, or the Super Elite, or Undisputed Elite, sorry, are going to be back next week, every member. I don't know what Omega's injury status is at the minute, but if you got those guys back, I think it would be a massive pop if Omega came back next Wednesday and Disturbed threw a spanner in the works and setting up the two trios of the Young Bucks and Omega, and obviously Cole and Red Dragon, and that could be your final in for the trios title. So as much as I would love the House of Black to be the first team, I think Murphy's still injured. So obviously Black's got his thing going on with Miro as well. So unless they recruit Miro in to replace Buddy Matthews at the moment temporarily, I don't know. But yeah, my man, shout out to Ashley again for that one. I legitimately think that's a very good shout. Cole and Red Dragon versus the Bucks and Omega for the trios titles. And yeah, if that's the case, I'll look forward to that. If it's not the case, I'll look forward to it anyway, because like I said, you've got so many different alternatives. Personally, I'd like to see Pride and Power and Kingston pick them up. I think those guys, all three of those guys, deserve belts. Pride and Power definitely, man. The fact that they haven't been tag team champs yet is criminal, but there hasn't been a chance for them. It's just is what it is. It's a stacked tag team roster, and you can't fault it. So yeah, that's a big thing about that episode, was the trios title, and then Sammy Garcia versus Dante Martin. Love Dante. I think the guy's freaking immense. If you like the flippy shit, which I do, I do like every aspect of wrestling. I can't fault something for being too ground based. I can't fault something for being flippy shit. It's all, if it's done well, bring it on. It's just Sammy G, man. The kid pisses me off. Even when he was a face and he wasn't meant to be. So it's not that he's getting heel heat. He's just getting cunt heat, which is a massive world of difference. So I watched the match because Dante was in it. But yeah, generally I half watch most of the stuff that Sammy does now. And then it was well, if I miss anything out, apologies. But like I say, I've just watched the Thunder Rosa match. That's probably why I'm thinking about it and getting kind of rushing to it. Again, I said my piece on Thunder Rosa. It was a good match. I'm just waiting for Toni Storm to take the women's title. That'll be me happy. And then it's not started yet, but we get to the main event of Daniel Garcia versus good old Bryan Danielson. Sorry, I had to think for a minute there not to call him Daniel Bryan. Also, today this is my second time watching the episode, so I watched this match earlier and been a massive advocate for Garcia, since he turned up. I think him and Yuta and Lee Moriarty, three guys that are just absolutely phenomenal, that are years ahead of the time. Yuta's come on leaps and bounds, obviously. It's great that he's associated with the BCC, but it's great for Garcia to be associated with the JAS as well. And the fact that he seems to be Jericho's right-hand man. He's the one getting the mic time if Jericho isn't talking. It's got to help Garcia come on leaps and bounds. And it's guys like that was all about, that they could build Ring of Honor around and use them quite prolifically on Ring of Honor and just get them the experience a bit more. But yeah, sorry, I digress. The main event between Daniel Bryan and Garcia was not what I expected. I don't know if Bryan suffered a legitimate sort of injury during the match, but the result was definitely not what I was expecting. I like it. I think it gives him legs, and it gives Garcia a lot of credibility, but it protected Bryan at the same time. So yeah, very well done. And I would argue the point that there isn't a better wrestler on the planet at the minute than Bryan Danielson. For me, the guy's just, people rave about sort of Omega and all those guys. Yeah, rightly so. The boys, they've got skills. But Bryan Danielson is just next level. The dude just delivers. And it doesn't matter who he's in the ring against as well. I think it was a few weeks ago. I think it was on Rampage. He had a match with Matt Sydal. I think I've watched that match 3 or 4 times. It just goes to show how good Sydal is as well. Always a fan. Always been a fan. And it's why he's at AEW. The amount of brains that he must be passing on to guys like Martin and stuff, but then when he's needed in the ring, the guy can still go. But yeah, Garcia, Bryan Danielson, very, very good match. Yeah, I'd highly recommend to go and see it just to sort of see the finish of it really, and sort of see where we go from here. Again, this is, we're getting into fancy booking territory. It's like, where do you go from? Because at some point they're going to have another match. I could watch these two guys wrestle. They could do a best of 7 for me. It's been a long time since somebody did a best of 7. And yeah, I'd love to see these two guys doing it. I just think they're absolutely amazing, and Garcia can't come out of this any worse. It's a massive learning curve for him. If he gets into the ring, every time he gets in the ring with Brian, he's just gonna get better and better and better. Yeah, so that's it really. It's gone on for 15 minutes. Look at that! Wow, aiming for 10. You can't shut me up. So, like I said at the start, if you liked the last video, thank you very much. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, give it a like. And this is still me, say, getting used to talking to you all and having to. Another reason I've worn a hood as well. Obviously, I normally wear a hat, but I wear the peak down like this, so I can kind of do the recordings but not see myself. But when I've got the hood on, I'm kind of forced to look at myself whilst I'm recording, and yeah, it's getting used to that again. So, but yeah, thank you for just listening to me ramble on for 15 minutes. Really, any thoughts? Whack them in the comments. If you didn't agree with anything I said, let me know, talk about it. I'm not going to take offence because you don't agree with what I said. It's called being a grown-up. We're allowed to disagree. As long as you're not a twat about it. You could actually hold a conversation and be intellectual with your comments. I'll talk about wrestling until the fucking sun comes down, and then back up again the next day. So yeah, come say hi, like, follow, share. And I will see you soon, and we will get back to some sort of sense of normality with work the left side. I'll start getting guests back on again. I'll get Ryan. Ryan's going to be back. Hopefully, I haven't actually spoken to him yet since I started doing all this. And yeah, like I say, my boy Ash is interested in talking, and yeah, he's a dude that's he knows his shit, and it'll be a few interesting conversations, I think. So there's definitely room for a little bit of a mix-up and a shake-up. And James, as mentioned, he'd be up for doing the MCU wrestling episode as well, so that's cool. So yes, thank you. I'm still rambling. I will let you go. Adios, and I'll see you soon.